Hey you. Yeah, you. Smile. Hi friend, you're listening to Marysaystosmile, the podcast I hope you get something out of. Whether it's a smile, laugh, or learning something about whatever it is we're talking about. Hi everybody, it's your girl Mary, and today, back with another episode is my great friend and your favorite man,
Kuuhiapo.
Yay! Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
We did not scare him away. He came back another time.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Thank you for being here.
Mahalo for having me again.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Okay, so I think we're both very excited to just dive into the topic, which is
yes,
introverts and extroverts.
Yes.
Hiapo, which one are you?
Thank you for asking. I am an introvert.
Okay.
Are you surprised?
Honestly, a little bit, because you're such a good performer, and whenever I see you around people, you're just like, hi, I'm Hiapo, and let me tell you about this. And I'm like, please continue. And then you like sing and you dance, and you're like, ah, and I'm just like, yes. And then you're like, I'm introverted. And I'm like, where? You know? But yes.
Yeah, I mean, totally. I mean, I get that a lot from my friends, especially those who are more acquaintances or I guess friends. Like the closer ones, they know that I'm introvert, but like I'll act very extroverted outside in public.
Yeah.
Of course, I'll be kind of crazy, and then I'll say, "Yeah, I'm introverted," and they're like, "How are you introverted?"
With that voice.
Yeah, how are you introverted? And I'm like, well, there's different, I guess, aspects of being, or parts of being introvert. You know?
Yes.
It's like, it's not, we're not only shy, you know, like there's so much on there. But before we go into that, what are you? Are you extroverted?
I'm a girl.
Of course you're a girl.
All right, so I am extremely extroverted. I am the opposite. When I tell it, people are like, no shit, Sherlock. Yeah, you is.
Right.
Yes. I love being around people. I love talking to people. My goal is just to be friends with the whole entire world.
That is so interesting. I could never.
Like my dream is like not like, it's weird. Like I want to be famous or popular, because to me, what would be so fun is like if I had like a lot of people that like listened or watched my stuff, and then we had like did meetups. I wouldn't call it like a meet and greet, but like meetups, and I could just meet all of those people and like talk to them. I think that would be so fun. Like I'm just like on stage and there's like 50 or 100 people, and I'm just like, hi guys, how's it going? Let's just talk and hang out. Like, I think that would be so fun.
And you don't get overwhelmed?
No, I'm just like, yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully like they're happy and down. It's like, I'm very empathetic. It's hard being an extrovert and empathetic, because depending on the crowd you're in, you'll feel all sorts of things. So as long as everyone's happy and like down to be there, it's like adrenaline rush.
Adrenaline rush is something that introverts don't handle very well. I mean, actually today, just knowing that I was gonna go to hip hop for the first time in forever and having a podcast, waking up, my adrenaline level was skyrocketing.
Oh no!
And I started getting like a fever-like feeling.
Like you're anxious.
Like anxious, yeah. Like that's something that I think quite a lot of introverts go through, because it's just like anticipation of social interaction. I think people don't really understand that introverts, like, we love people. We love people because we love connections, authentic connections. We don't really thrive off of small talk. We can do small talk if it's necessary, but we would rather not.
Right.
I think for me personally, I would rather have intellectual conversations, deep conversations. Just let's just get to know each other. Let's
cut the bull crap. Who are you?
Yeah, I don't like that whole like, oh, how's the weather?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
Sunny.
Right.
Period. You know, I don't like that. So yeah, that's me. And of course, how about for you? Like, do you like small talk?
I don't know. I think small talk is a good gauge for how far I can jump into the deep end. But before we get into that also, we were kind of talking about earlier, like you were saying like the spectrum and like not how all introverts are one type of way. If you gave a percentage, like you're obviously 100% a person, how much extrovert to introvert would you be?
I feel like I am like 75% introverted, and the rest is extroverted. Yeah. I'm not completely like 100% introverted,
right?
Because I do have like I guess, a social life.
Yeah.
I actually, like, again, when I tell people I'm an introvert, it really does contrast with my social life because I'm a part of so many social groups.
Right.
I have so many friends.
Yes.
It's even for me too. Like, I even confuse myself. I'll be in bed and I'll think to myself, am I actually an introvert or am I going through a rough patch in my life? You know?
Oh.
There's something I could say about extroverts and introverts. I mean, because I am a psychology major and
Here we go.
I study about this.
Bring it in.
You know, extroverts by research, they do experience more positive emotions, happy emotions, and all. Whereas introverts, we naturally go the opposite way. We're more neurotic. We have more like naturally we have more of that sadder kind of negative emotions and all. Not saying that we are depressed or anything. It's just how our brains work. And I think another thing that people don't really understand is that introverted and extroverted people is not only behavioral wise, but there's a biological thing happening in our brains. So when you're extroverted, you need so much stimulation.
I do.
Right. Like, and where you get the stimulation from? Social interactions. Period. Introverts, yes, we need stimulation, but we don't need too much.
Right.
And that's why, when you meet an introvert, we usually like staying home. Like, we would rather stay and watch Netflix all day, and we can just talk to one person a day, and that's as much stimulation that we need.
Right.
And so, and when an introvert is put into a social situation like a party, we only not all introverts, because again, there's different kind of introverts, right? But usually introverts will drain out. Like, their energies will just go completely flat and they want to leave.
Right.
And for me, it does happen quite often. Not always. Sometimes, like, I just like a group and I can stay with them for a long time. But yeah, majority of the time I would just want to get out of there and go back
battery
home.
time's out.
Right. And you can usually tell, because when I'm my extroverted self, I'm like this. I'm very sociable and all. But when I start shutting down, I'm still nice and all, but I don't talk as often. I'm still listening, but I'm kind of out of it. Like, my mind is thinking, well, I kind of want to be home right now. Like, Simon will sound really good right now. Just like, what's on the TV? What's on Netflix right now? I want to, there's this a great YouTube video that I want to watch. These things kind of go in their minds, and we're not usually present. And it's because the stimulation is too much. Right. And of course, contrast extroverts. You guys
thrive on the stimulation.
But that doesn't mean that you guys don't need alone time. Because everybody needs alone time.
Gotta recharge.
Yeah. I believe there's only a few like pure introverts and pure extroverts.
Right.
But again, everybody's on a spectrum.
Yeah.
Well, most people need their alone time.
Right.
And introverts also need social time. I was kind of thinking about this driving one day, and
driving thoughts are the best.
Driving thoughts are bomb, especially when you're by yourself and you're introvert. Great, you can talk to yourself all day. And that's another thing I can say. Although introverts seem like they're shy and all, and they're quiet, they're actually not shy. They're just there's a lot going in their brain and all. We're actually we want people to come and talk to us. We want connections and all. And
you just need those extroverts to be the initiators.
Yeah, it's all about energy and all.
Right.
And for me, like, I'm not saying that my extroverted friends don't have intellectual conversations, but what I've noticed that all my introverted friends, they have a lot of interesting things to say.
Yeah. Word.
Right. Yeah. What was I talking about again?
You were going on about a night drive or a drive, and you had thoughts.
Yeah. During this pandemic.
Yes.
During this pandemic, I realized that a lot of us introverts are thriving during this pandemic.
Because you don't gotta go out as much.
Yeah.
And, like,
there's a balance too, because we don't have to be out too much, but we can still see our friends when it's beneficial to us.
Right.
Kind of thing. And I know a lot of my extroverted friends have been struggling a lot during this time.
Yep.
And let me just say that I'm not sure if I'm the only one, but I found myself being the extrovert this time.
Okay.
And a lot of my extroverted friends became introverted.
Yeah.
Because they're not used to this whole structured thing where, like, they can't go out, and if they do go out, they cannot do it on their own time.
Right.
I think for me, my experience have been, I would plan out hangout events on Zoom with my friends.
Oh.
Yeah, and I love doing that, and my extroverted friends, they just were maybe busy or just they completely shut down or they don't know what to do kind of thing.
Okay.
But I'm noticing that, because we've been in quarantine for almost a year.
Yeah.
It's been pretty exhausting.
Yeah.
Although, I'm able to control the social situations that I'm in. Just being the extroverted friend as an introvert for your extroverted friends.
It's tiring.
It's a weird dynamic.
Right.
And I believe it is a little easier for extroverts to be introverted because they can still look for stimulation.
Right.
Whereas for introverted friends, especially during this pandemic, like, they're surrounded by what they know and what they feel comfortable, but they need to accommodate for their other friends because they're struggling. So
yeah,
I think that's just me. I'm not really sure about you. Like, how have you felt during this pandemic as an extrovert?
So I'm not just an extrovert, I'm also an extrovert who's one of my like top love languages is physical touch.
Oh.
So I like for sure during like the first like hardcore shutdowns, I was like, I just want to hug everyone, but no, or else, I mean, obviously it's really bad and we shouldn't, but I just remember like, I think my mom thought I was going through a really weird stage because I would hug her every single time I came home. And I was like, Mom, we need to do like a 20-second hug. Let's just sit here and I need this. All right, good talk. Let's go. But yeah, okay, really random thought. I love a good analogy. And I thought of one as you were speaking about the introverts, extroverts. Did you watch Ratatouille?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so introverts are like Remy, where they pick and choose what foods they want, and because of that they see all these colors in their minds and they just see how it works and they're really internalizing it and really like they bite into that particular food they had and they think about it. Whereas extroverts, we are the brother and we will eat trash and we will eat as much trash as we can because we just love it and we're down with it. Like obviously when we find that really great thing that you introverts show us and that piece and we're like, yeah, that was good. But we got to keep going, so I'm just going to eat more. You know what I mean?
I think you're talking about, like, the processes that we have when...
for me, it's more like introverts, you guys, like, pick and choose who you guys talk to and share your words of wisdom with, and, like, everything. But us extroverts, we're kind of just like, I'm down. Let's go for it all kind of vibes.
Right.
Also, it was interesting when you were, like... A lot of extroverts I've also talked to, so... Obviously, you need alone time to recharge, but we also charge by hanging out with others. Like sometimes when I'm feeling really tired, but then I know I'm going to hang out with my friends, I'll hang out with them and we're just hanging out and I will instantly like get re-energized and I'm like good to go. So like, yes, I need alone time to recharge, but I also need people time to charge as well. Because if I'm by myself for way too long, it's like, that's how my battery gets drained.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I can bring up this other term, Ambivers. I mean, people who are in between. And I feel like if we were not talking about extroverted introverts, we are all Ambivers.
Period.
Yeah, because again, like how you said, we do need our time alone, and there's times that we need social interactions. I'm the same thing as well. Like I can sit by myself for weeks on end, alone meaning with the people that I love, as in like my family and all.
Right.
But there are occasions where if I'm with people that I love and I click with, even if I'm socially tired, I'm just hang out with them, I get kind of energized a little bit. It's like there's good vibes. And I think as introverts, I guess we're drawn to extroverts because extroverts are it's their natural instinct to be positive. I think that's why we're so drawn to extroverts. Not only because of how friendly you guys are, but I think it's just like that vibe of just...
That looks fun.
Right. Yeah. that looks fun, but I won't do it, but I'm happy that I have a friend that can do it for me kind of thing.
That's so interesting that you say you're drawn, like introverts are drawn to extroverts. I feel like extroverts are so drawn to introverts. Like, I think it's so funny when you were like, so Mary came up to me and she was like, hi, we're going to be friends. Because if you talk to like 90% of my introverted friends, well, all of my friends, like a lot of my friends are introverted, all of them will say, yeah, so Mary comes up to me and she's like, hey, you're gonna be my friend, and here we are. Like, so hearing that introverts are drawn to extroverts, I'm like, that is hilarious. Yes.
I would want to say too that because I'm not totally like introverted, right? Like I still have extroverted things and all. When I am with my introverted friends who are more introverted than I am, I become the extroverted one, which is so weird. The dynamic is so weird, and I become the extroverted one. I'm the one who takes initiative. I'm the one who is just very decisive and all. And it feels good because I think in everybody's like, especially introverts' minds, like we believe like extroverts are like the ideal and something's wrong with us. Or something at like I don't know, a certain point in our life we thought there's something wrong with us because why don't we want to go out with our friends all the time? Why don't is it am I depressed? But it's not we're not depressed, it's just how our brains work. So
right.
But when we get the chance, and I only can speak for myself, when we get a chance to become extroverted, it's just like a superpower, but it takes so much out of us.
Yeah, I've heard that as well from introverts.
When I'm with my friends, especially during this quarantine time, we're introverts, I of course initiate the thing, which is an extroverted thing to do, and I plan things and all, I make convert with them and all, and I feel good. But I think at that moment I want my extroverted friends.
Right.
Because I know they will be much better at this than I am.
No,
like I have the skills, I do, and again, I think that's the reason why a lot of people perceive me as extroverted because I have social skills,
right?
And I don't think people realize that introverts have social skills,
right?
Like we're actually very highly intelligent social beings. Being like we're a creature of a different species, but we're highly like intelligent social beings, but we just process the world differently and how we communicate and all. And so like how you were saying, when you talk to these introverts, like we have just like interesting thing to say. I mean, for those of you who are just listening on, like we have a friend right next to us, Sharyse.
Hi, Sharyse.
She's also an introvert as well. And like what we were talking about is that when Sharyse speaks, like she doesn't usually speak a lot, but when she does speak, like the whole room listens, or like because like there's something very important that she's saying that brings essence and meaning to the conversation.
Her words are never empty. They come with something, and you're like, I gotta know what this something is. Like, tune into that episode. Yes. We waited a month for a single episode. Give it to us.
I love that. I love that introverts, we have this sort of humor timing kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, because extroverts are always talking and they're giving. And because people don't like really expect introverts to say anything, when we do say something, especially humorous, it's out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And it makes it so much more funnier.
It does.
I mean, of course, because I'm an introvert, but I have friends who are more introverted than I am. When they say something humorous, I'm like, oh my gosh, where did that come from? I should know where that comes from because I'm introvert as well, but where did that come from kind of thing. So that's where
that was okay. So it was so fascinating when earlier you were saying as an introvert, you were like, what is wrong with me? Like, why did it? I'm the opposite in the sense that I thought as an extrovert, I'm constantly word vomiting. I just can't stop talking. And sometimes I feel like there's not necessarily a lot of depth. So I find myself a lot of times when I'm alone, like, why did you say that? That really wasn't necessary. Like, you could have just like not said that, or you could have concentrated that sentence or paragraph really into like a sentence or two.
Right, yeah.
So I'm always just like, okay, why can we not just like hear what people say, think about it, and then respond?
Right.
Versus like as soon as someone tells me something, I'm like, okay, well, da 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 da. Right.
And that's so interesting because although like we're opposites, right?
Right.
I actually relate to that because I do journal and all.
You journal?
I journal.
Wow.
Yeah. Because
Hi, Hiapo.
Hi. And I think it's, I guess, a very introverted thing to do. what I've heard, but I realize how I process information is by talking, but usually not with other people, but by myself. So I find myself talking to myself in the car.
Okay.
Like I'll interview myself.
Stop.
Like actually every single day, in the bathroom, like before I go to sleep, because I have a routine. So I'll sit on the toilet and I'm like, Hiapo, how are you doing today? Temperature check. Or like, what are you thinking today? What was this about? What are you thinking? And I will go on tangents.
Right.
And I can do that with my friends as well. But I feel like, I don't know, I think it's just situation wise as well. And so it's weird because I don't know, like when I'm with my friends, sometimes I can talk.
Right.
And sometimes like that's like how you're saying, just things are just like word vomit. Right.
Just rolls out.
Yeah. Sometimes I do feel like that. I feel like it's very extroverted things to do, but I did realize at some point that it is an introverted thing to do as well, because in our alone time, we have so much we're thinking about, and we actually put things, I'm not sure if you're the same as well, and Sharyse, but we actually have scripted paragraphs that we can say. Like, if you brought up a topic, we have it ready and we will talk nonstop.
He said talk.
Talk. Yeah, I'm saying talk, and I'm using like hand motions right now. Can you hear it?
Right.
I have like you can ask me a topic and I'll give you like a scripted answer, like essay.
I'm gonna tell you what I know about this topic that you just brought up. Listen in, kids.
Right. And I think oftentimes I feel like, oh, I'm an extrovert because I'm talking too much and I'm figuring things out as I talk. But I guess I didn't realize that a lot of those things I'm saying are suppressed within me because I don't really have the opportunity to engage with people who are interested in what I want to say. I think that's like another thing that introverts as well, right? Like we're just perceived as like, oh, we're just quiet. We don't really have a lot to say kind of thing. But holy cow, we have so much to say.
Right.
And I think that, of course, surprises extroverts, definitely.
Yes. I don't know. Extroverts, I feel like when we have our introvert friends, all we want to do is hear you talk. Like, if you ask Sharyse, I am constantly just like, Sharyse, what do you want to tell me today? What'd you do today? Tell me something.
And what do we usually say?
Well, I don't know. Can you like be more direct?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so like it's weird. It's weird, right? Like we actually have a full-blown answer to give you.
Yes.
But we don't know which answer you want.
Yes.
Sometimes. Yes. Or sometimes it's like we have the answer, but we don't have the energy to like explain how we're feeling sometimes.
Right.
Like, yeah, like when people ask me, how are you doing? I'm like, fine.
Right.
Or like, okay.
Or I've learned it's the more direct questions that are going to actually elicit a response versus direct, like, what did you do today? It's more like, okay, so in the morning it was super cold and da-da-da. What did you do in response to that? And then we'll get more of like
those answers. Yes, yeah. Those are the questions. The questions that are more direct and questions that ask us what we think, what we feel, what do we believe. We love those questions. We don't like those questions. Yeah, we don't like those questions that's very generic, like,
what's your favorite color?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we can go on a tangent on that, but like if you ask us like what's your favorite color and why do you like the color and like what's your whole inner monologue telling you about that? Oh, we can go I can go on tangents about that, like why my favorite color is the way it is. But yeah, that's kind of like how we go through things, I think, when conversing with our extroverted friends. Yeah.
All I'm thinking about is how much I want to be a fly on the wall in your car. When you're like driving and you're like, Hiapo, let's talk about what just went down. And I would probably pay like $1 million just to be like, what's he gonna say? It was tuning in.
It's so interesting.
Hiapo radio.
I was like, this past week I went to Waimea, and I was thinking about this topic, and I wanted to see how much I know about this. So I was kind of making believe. I think every extrovert does this as well. We make situations in our spare time, and just to be ready for social situations. That's why we don't like spontaneous social interactions, because we don't know how to behave. So like, you're telling us we have a birthday party to go next month, we will be ready. Yes. Tell us who is going to be there, who the people who's going to be there, what time we're going to leave. The theme, and we will be the most extroverted friends there. We will have it ready. But if you tell us, oh, we're going to go to a party tonight, huh?
I'm not ready.
Like, who's going to be there? Like, oh my god, like there's so much going on. So. But again, I mean, going back to my car situation, I'll just talk about extroverts and introverts for 40 minutes.
Stop!
I will just go blab about like my personal experience and all, how I felt, how I think, what I believe, what people believe, how it correlates to myself. And I think that's the reason why I like my majors, like my communication and psychology majors, because I love correlations. I love seeing these matches and how what I experience is the same thing as them, but they haven't gone through the same thing I have, but we're still the same. It's so weird. Yeah, like I like those intellectual, theoretical, rhetorical questions that don't necessarily have an answer to.
So all I'm hearing is the next time you're in your car, you're going to have your phone, you're going to turn on voice recording, and you're basically going to start a podcast like Hiapo Talks, Hiapo Car Talks, Hiapo to Hiapo Vibes, like H2H. Ooh, that'd be cute. Anyways, I think that would be so interesting, and I would totally listen.
I would appreciate the listen. I feel like a lot of us introverts have a lot to say, but when you take out the filter from our mouths, we know a lot of things, and we have no, like, I don't know, like it's out there. Right. So I feel like if you recording my voice in my car and listening to my conversations, a lot of things are maybe not appropriate or
fascinating. Yes. No, that's what makes the best podcast though.
So yeah, it puts us introverts in a different light. So yeah,
fascinating.
Yes.
Okay, so great, you're gonna do it.
We'll see.
Oh my god!
I'm not sure if my introverted self would like that.
Okay.
I think my introverted self would like, you need validation. But my introverted self is like, you don't need that. You're confident in yourself.
Yes. Okay, so I guess then you're just gonna have to keep coming back on my podcast so we can just hear more of these introverted thoughts that I'm like, wow, I love it.
I would be happy to come on to this and talk more. Definitely. Thank you for having me. Oh my gosh.
No, for sure. Like, honestly, everything you've said, it's so well thought out, and the way you speak is just so good. Like,
oh, thank you.
Wow, the word choice is not great. I said good, But yes, this was so much fun.
Mahalo, thank you so much.
Yay. Okay, guys. Well, but like definitely let us know if you think also Hiapo needs to start his own podcast, H to H, Hiapo to Hiapo. Anyways, Hiapo, any last words?
Yeah, just if you have an introverted friend and you're an extrovert, please check up on them. I'm pretty sure they're fine. I'm pretty sure they don't need your validation. I'm pretty sure they don't need your checking up on them and all of that. But just check up on them and
ask them direct questions.
Ask them direct questions. Don't ask them about how they're feeling. Ask them like specific things, like why do you like this, and give me 3 facts of why you like that.
Wow,
and we will give you everything. We will give you a bibliography of where we got those sources from.
Okay. I'm expecting this next time now.
I will.
Alrighty then. Thank you so much for being here. Wow, I'm so excited. This is so fun.
Thank you so much.
Alrighty, guys. Bye. Hi there. That was an episode of Marysaystosmile. Please like, share, review, and subscribe. Basically, however you're listening to this podcast. Also, I've made an email for you guys to send questions or topics that you would like for me to discuss/talk about. It's going to be himarysaystosmile@gmail.com. One more time, himarysaystosmile@gmail.com. Anyways, I hope you have the most amazing day. Bye!